everything within the kitchen will be fully automated.
That's led us to make some difficult decisions, including the immediate termination of your role.
Trained to be a plumber.
So today we're going to be talking about AI and how it's taken over jobs. AI is starting to move very fast. It's taken over a lot of jobs, and it's unfortunately doing it better than most humans can do, depending on the scale of the job. And a lot of these AI jobs are not creating jobs that people can actually adapt to. So what do we do? So if you are living in today's world where your job is in a question to be taken over by AI, or you're getting to that position where you're concerned about it, this video today, we're going to talk about how AI is affecting jobs, look at a lot of examples, and break down what to expect from this AI lookabout. So with that being said, let's get into the most obvious thing that's going to be taken over, the food industry. One thing about AI is it takes over redundancy. And this is where we're going to be talking about Asia and the West today as well. This job was the most common thing that I saw when I was leaving Hawaii back in 2014, that jobs were being replaced in Jack in the Box, Taco Bell, where they were automating the kitchens. Everything was automated. You only had a drive-through person and a manager really working in a lot of the restaurants around Oahu. So this video is kind of mocking the idea that AI is not going to take over the job. So I want to show you a little different thing on what has actually been going on for the last decade when it comes to fast food.
Starting this year, all the fast food giants have indicated a move towards fully automated kitchens. So everything within the kitchen will be fully automated. The industry itself in robotics is expected to be worth about $2 billion. And that's a move from 2026 over to 2030, where all kitchens will be fully automated. As you see here, they're cooking the patties and they can even assemble the sandwiches. They all have this tech now as running through testing, but starting this year, they're going to start to roll it out. They're calling them modular kitchens, and it'll have a software called Ready on Arrival. So you'll arrive in the drive-through, place your order to an AI, and then the AI will make it and deliver it to you in your car.
In Hawaii, they were already doing this. The only ones that worked at the Jack in the Box I used to go to every other morning, because 2-for-1 tacos are seriously amazing. Not healthy, but amazing. But it was always the shift supervisor and then a drive-through person. That's all it was. In the drive-through, the shift supervisor kept the front area clean. They talked to the customers up front, and they dealt with the kitchen stuff, where everything else was automated. The kitchen was 100% automated. And there's quite a few different stock companies out here that have been around for like the last 15, 20 years. And I've invested in a few of them through ETFs where they're specializing in automation for the food industry world. These jobs have already been getting automated and replaced for the last 10 to 15 years. And like I said earlier, a lot of the jobs that are being replaced are redundant jobs, things that you do over and over and over and over, right? Something AI can figure out pretty fast and robotics can pretty much process the job. But the sad part about a lot of this and what's becoming very harmful, and even for me, it's a little concerning, is a lot of these jobs, if not most of them, are entry level, meaning people that are trying to get higher end jobs won't be qualified because they don't even know the entry level spot because it's not a job anymore. So real quick, let's get into the comments on this one because they are very interesting, because I remember growing up and my dad was working at Boeing and computers were just coming out. You had the old terminal stuff and he was like, I'm never doing this. This is a trend. I want to read these comments and kind of show you how this kind of sounds like my dad's in the comment section right now. Why would any consumer support this? I seriously doubt that this is cheaper than paying minimum wage. And the price will go down, right? I at least know I'll get what I ordered, which is a fair assessment. I won't buy from stores like this. It annoys me so much that they call this AI when robotics automation is not AI. Now, I want to address a few of these real quick. The first one is, why would anybody support this? Everybody does. Amazon, automated driving cars, things like Tesla. If you're using an iPhone, a lot of it's automated. A lot of software is AI based. Your banking system is AI based. A lot of your appliances at home are AI robotic based. So why would anyone consume this? I would say we already are. I seriously doubt that this is cheaper than paying minimum wage. This is a true fact. I hear this a lot. It costs more upfront to get this done. A lot of these machines cost between $10,000 to $30,000 upfront to get set up, installed, paid for, right? And a lot of these corporations, if not most of them, are just financing them. So in general, it does cost less to buy these on a loan than it does to hire a human. There's no insurance, there's no days off, there's low maintenance, there's low overhead. Everything is pretty much good to go. So will it be cheaper? In the long run, yes. In the short run, it's debatable based off interest rates, right? Now, will the prices go down on these products? Absolutely not. Amazon every year gets more expensive for what they sell, and they keep getting more and more automated, right? Just because something's automated doesn't mean it's going to be cheaper. Just because AI is being injected means that it's all going to become cheaper. That's not always how it works. And finally, I won't buy from a store like this. I just talked about this a minute ago. We already are. You do self checkout, right? That's automation.
I just got laid off from my cashier position at Target. I was getting paid $17 an hour, and they replaced my ass with a self-checkout register of a bachelor's in engineering. And I can't land a minimum wage job. I can't. Why am I not promoted? Why am I getting demoted out of the job? What is wrong with the job market? Like, how do you guys maintain your jobs? How do you even find jobs? Genuinely, if it weren't for side shift, where I can make an extra $100 every week making these videos talking to you guys that literally like a 5-year-old could do, I couldn't be able to afford the clothes on my back.
I'm curious what kind of an engineer he is, and he's working as a checkout clerk. And finally, the job that was taking over that he used to do was a checkout clerk. We've been doing automated checkouts for almost 2 decades now. This is not surprising. If you are applying for a job that is known to be taken over by AI, it hasn't yet maybe, but it has been known to be, such as self-checkout. Applying for these jobs is pretty much like going to labor ready and getting temporary work. You have no guarantees. You better get promoted fast. So if you do pick up one of these jobs, I strongly suggest you start learning many skills at that job. So when they do release you or they come to that point, they at least be like, hey, this David guy knows these other talents. We could just move him to this other department. So make yourself way more valuable, especially if you're working in a spot that is known to be automated.
$20 packed up in 2 bags. I have to leave my office because AI is taking over my position.
An older lady got laid off because of AI. And I brought this one up because of the comments section. The comments section gets straight to the point. You guys remember the term learn the code? People used to say it was racist. They said it was insensitive. I've always found it as an accurate term. If you get laid off from your job because of a digital service or AI, it's going to be very hard to find that job again because I'm pretty sure every other company is doing the same damn thing, right? And in the comment section, let's bring this up here. A lot of people say the same thing, adapt. Adapt to what? My gas will increase 350 to 400 a week compared to 75 a week. My tolls will increase 35 a week. I had to cut hours at all my second job because I'm moving to another office. Adapt to new careers, learn new skills. If life there was the .com wave that created multiple millionaires, we are in a new wave. I worked havoc, saw new advancements, did self-learning. Now I work with AI and machine learning clusters that host the AI agents that will take over the world. Get a grip, lady. And I do understand her mindset because she is older. She's been living in the time where you get a job, you work for 35 years, you retire. Life is good, you know? We're living this idea of what our parents used to live like. That kind of stuff is over right now, though. And it's really coming to an end. We need to start relearning, reskilling, learn the code. Might not be, I don't think learning the code, though, directly is a good thing to do. I would definitely learn how to do AI prompting and stuff like that. Or just learn a manual labor job. And we're going to go over some of these manual jobs here in a bit.
Hey Jalen, how's it going?
Hey David, I'm good. How are you?
Doing okay. Definitely a busy time. So look, I want to hop right into it. As you may have heard, we've been restructuring parts of the firm to adopt AI and alleviate some pretty high operational expenses. Unfortunately, that's led us to make some difficult decisions, including the immediate termination of your role. This is not based on your performance as an employee. This is a firm-wide decision impacting hundreds of workers. I know this is probably hard to hear, so I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely a shock considering how much effort I put in at this company. So I'm just wondering, will I be receiving any severance?
Yeah, of course. You'll be receiving 2 weeks severance. I know it's not a lot, but off the record, more as a friend, let me know if there's anything that I can do to help. Anyone that you see I'm connected with on LinkedIn, happy to make an intro. We were literally talking last week about those AI apps like Sprout or whatever, where people are swiping to apply to jobs. Definitely check that out. But look, you're obviously a top performer, and I'm sure you'll find a new role soon, okay? I do have to jump for my next call. My colleague Mark will stay on and go over offboarding. All right, take care. Bye.
All right, yeah, thank you. Bye.
This is honestly extremely painful to watch, and it looked fake. And I don't mean the video is fake. How fast this David guy announced the issue. He removed her from the position and barely gave her 2 weeks of any kind of severance pay, and then offloaded her to some guy named Mark saying, hey, I got to go to the next call. So this guy is Rolodex firing people at this point, meaning he's just going down the payroll and just laying people off with ease. And I feel like it's almost soulless. But it still does bring me to the question, who buys anything if nobody actually works?
Who will buy things if AI takes over everyone's job? My name is Chris. I talk about AI and leaving corporate, and I'm here to tell you about it. So many people in my last video commented and said, who will buy things if AI takes everyone's jobs? Well, I'm here to tell you that you need to look at the bigger picture. This is not checkers, it is chess. What they want to do is create two classes of people. They don't want a middle class anymore, and you can see that it's being hollowed out as we speak. They think that the middle class is creeping up too much into the elite class. They talk about this in the World Economic Forum. There's just too many people on Earth. They want to go back to the way it was in medieval days and even before, where there's wealthy people and then there's the poor that get controlled like cattle. Slowly but surely, AI will take out the middle class and pretty much all these office jobs. When that happens, people will either need to decide, I need to get rich and be part of the wealthy class, and so they will do something about it, or they will be part of the poorer class. Now, what you need to figure out is what side you lean on. Do you have a job that's going to withstand time, that's going to help you get rich in the future, or not? Now, long term, what the plan probably is universal basic income. They basically spoon feed you a small income to survive, and then they control everything that you do, and they tell you what to do. If you're part of the wealthy class, you probably have more freedom. The jobs that AI will take out is anything that looks at a screen right now. And I say that for the most part, but any sort of middle management job, any sort of job where you are in data or just looking at a screen all day, sending emails, those are going to be the first ones to take it out in the next 3 to 7 years. And probably there's going to be a massive 30% reduction in force over the next 18 months. Now, what is going to be safe? Well, just look at it now. If you look at franchising, for instance, take that example, go research it. What are the most amount of franchises that are popping up right now? It's home services. They're the roofers, right? And most people don't know this, but roofing companies do extremely, extremely well. Most roofers I know that own their own companies have a secret Lamborghini or Ferrari parked in the garage. And if you don't believe me, go look that up too. But these home services make hand over fist because they are a need, not a want. No one wants to call the roofer. No one wants to call the plumber. They have to, right? And most of these services are oftentimes backed by insurance, like restoration. If you're in a position right now where you feel like, oh, this could be easily done by a robot, or hey, they're having me basically document my process of how I work, and I don't know what they're going to do with that, you're probably going to be replaced pretty soon. What I would recommend is getting into the trades. Now, it doesn't mean you have to be doing hard manual labor like a tradesman would, and we thank you folks all for doing what you do, but you could also get into sales. You could get into operations. You could get into the AI that will eventually handle all the phone calls that people from the trades need, right? So there's many different avenues, but I would say you have to pivot now if you were in a corporate office job where you were just basically having meetings all day about absolutely nothing.
So this is what we've just been talking about. Remove the middle class, UBI. What job do you even do? And he states kind of the same thing that we were just talking about earlier. You need to get manual jobs. And he brings up a good point. Why? Because people need these services. It's not that you want to call the plumber. You don't want to call the construction guy to fix your broken wall or your fireplace or fix your AC. You need to get it fixed. So having a job where it's a requirement for just day-to-day life is a mandate. These are the types of skills that we should be learning. But he does talk about, again, remove the middle class, the UBI. Who buys what? Don't know. What do you buy when you're on UBI? But the ones that hold a business on things that people need, not what they want, are going to be the ones that are going to be okay next to the rich. And this brings us to kind of an interesting question. I want to talk about in the comment section here is who's going to pay for the plumber if Nobody can afford it. This is where insurance comes in. I think insurance is going to be a big part of it. But now we got to ask the question, who pays insurance if nobody can afford it? I actually hate this timeline. Billionaires have never done anything for the greater good. I find this comment stupid. I don't think people understand what a billionaire is. To hate people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and all them, sure, I can understand why. But they also create a massive amount of jobs. They pay for something over like 60% of all US taxes, federally and state based. They pay for a majority of the welfare programs, yet they take none from it. A billionaire does a great thing. This is why they do so well. And next comment is, I'm a firefighter. AI ain't taking that job. Very true. Have a job that is a need. Nobody wants to call the firefighter. You don't want to go home from work and to be like, oh, damn, my house is on fire. I got to call the firefighter. You don't just call them because you want to. You call them because you need to. And just when I became an adult, I feel so bad for a lot of these kids because they're growing up in a world that is going to be very, very, very challenging. But it's not all end hope. You have time to learn. We have nothing but time. Use that time well. Don't spend it on TikTok.
So my role has just been taken over by AI. I laugh because, like, if someone said this to me like 5-10 years ago, I'd be like, you are joking. You must be joking. But I'm not joking. But it's fine. I'm a real true believer in everything happens for a reason. One door closes and another door opens. For context, my role is social media and design executive. But yeah, AI will be supposedly doing my job now. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to get every other people's thoughts on AI. I know it's becoming a really big thing now. I know it can be good for helping humans, enhancing humans, but I don't know. I don't really know if AI should be taken over from humans. If that's the case, then I feel like we're living in a really scary world now. We're living in a really scary world.
What is up with her camera? Like, what is this stuff, man? I hate when people do that. She's probably doing that pigeon finger thing. But this is the thing about when I talked about earlier about redundant jobs. We were talking about the self checkout at a store, right? Redundant. It's going to get replaced. A lot of these assembly jobs going to get replaced. Her job is to do research on what's trending and then tell our content creators what to create. This is already being done by AI. So her type of a job is very redundant and it can also be done for free. Her job, which was shaking the phone like a maniac, was also just doing something that was going to get replaced within a matter of time. So looking over the comments, marketing and HR are no longer necessary or valuable. And the comments below this is, has HR ever been necessary or valuable? And this is kind of a thing too. A lot of these things like HR, I know they deal with like SA and stuff like this at work, or SH, I think it's called. But they do a lot of the paperwork. A lot of this stuff is now being automated. It's being done online. So when you get a job, you'll go through like this like introduction training or something like that. They're going to be able to do everything online with you. So you're going to do it. It's going to get verified. It's going to get shot to the government and verified. Everybody's happy and verified. So you're not going to need an HR. And when we talk about the types of jobs that are replacing people, I found this one interesting. This is where that adaptation comes in. I replaced 2 people because of AI. Not a nice thing to do, but saved $100K a year and is faster, more accurate, and does the workload of 20 people in that role. It's sad, but it's life. And this is a big part of a lot of this AI stuff. The lady that we just watched, her job is to research trends and help social media influencers get famous, right? All of that can be done in a matter of minutes on AI. And finally, I see it very differently. In the short term, yes, there will be profits increases for businesses who utilize AI well. However, when all the businesses start to adapt to AI, this will create a tsunami of competition. The way to overcome this is to be able to hire people again and improve services, quality, and creativity. And this is a big part of what AI is. AI is limited by creativity. It can take all the information in the world that humans have generated and created, and it can solve those problems that we tell it to solve. AI doesn't go out and look for problems. AI doesn't go out and try to innovate new ideas that have never been thought of. AI just solves current everyday problems, being small or big. So removing the human base from AI is a damaging thing because it does take away that creativity and it does remove that ability. I don't know though. You guys let me know. I feel that technology will plateau. If we remove all the humans, fire everybody, turn everything to AI, it's going to go very smooth for like maybe 5, 10, 15 years, but then it's going to plateau because there's no humans that are trying to innovate or solve a problem. And AI solves problems that it's being told to solve. It doesn't solve problems that are unheard of.
They call you the godfather of AI. So what would you be saying to people about their career prospects in a world of superintelligence?
Trained to be a plumber.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna become a plumber.
So with all of this being said today, we got it from the godfather of AI, become a plumber. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think the go-to job is in nowadays? For me, I feel like you either learn AI, machine learning at a high level, which is completely possible these days on YouTube. Use your phone for good, not for wasting time all day. Or you just learn a skill that people need, not what people want. So that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know in the comments below, what job do you think is safe in the next 5 or 10 years? And what job do you actually think is going to be deleted in the next 30 to 60 days? And if you do know somebody that's going through this AI burst where they're about to lose their job and they think you are, definitely share this video with them. I'd love to hear their feedback as well. And with that being said, guys, I will see you guys in the next video.